just back from seeing Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Yeah, pretty good. Definitely liked it. I'd say it's the best Phase 2 film so far, and by that I mean
I've just got to interrupt here. I mean, Chris Evans, he's okay as Captain America, but let's be honest, he's no Red Brown.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Matt Salinger was pretty good as well.
Salinger? Are you insane? Red Brown all the way, man.
I did like the plastic shield. Well, should we just show, in case the guys don't know what we're talking about, we'll give them a bit of a recap on what's Captain America's have come before. There was the 70s one and there was a 1990s one as well. So let's give you a bit of a recap anyway on what's come before.
The ultimate battle for justice is about to begin. Captain America.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who chose to oppose his shield must yield. If he's led to a fight and a duel is due, then the red and the white and the blue will come through when Captain America throws his mighty shield.
Yeah, I mean, Captain America's stupid. He's got red, white and blue on his shield. It's red, transparent and blue.
Everybody
knows
that.
And he's got to wear like a bicycle helmet, otherwise he's going to get hit in the head.
Stupid otherwise, I mean, yeah. So.
Yeah.
Obviously we're joking, we're probably going to get shitloads of people typing on YouTube, the haters. Yeah, to be fair, the old Captain America's, yeah, by those standards, but that's not...
Pretty iffy of the old ones, but no, this was a very good film.
The point I was making as well, like I say, I'd say it's the best film of the Phase 2, which starts with Iron Man 3, Thor the Dark World, and then this. So far, it's been the best in my opinion. What do you think about that?
It's one of those things where I'm not going to start putting, like, oh, I like this one better than that one, because I've liked all three of them quite a lot.
Oh, yeah, I liked them all. I mean, they're all, like, 10 out of 10, but it's the kind of thing I prefer this one.
Like I say, when it comes, I'm really bad at, like, placing things, so I'm just going to leave it as I like all three of them.
Very pleased, yeah. So what
we're going to be non-spoilers, and when we get spoilers, we're going to clearly tell you to cut off if you don't want spoilers.
Give you a warning. Obviously, the film's just come out today in Britain. Today's Wednesday, the 26th of March, so it's out in America on the 4th of April. So
yeah, we're doing this about 20 past 8. Whoa!
Something like that, at 9.
Yeah.
So
literally just got back in from Leeds from watching it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Now we did go see it in 3D as well. The 3D effects were...
Yeah, it wasn't a bad 3D film, but it wasn't a particularly good one either.
Yeah.
In some of the fight scenes very early on, it wasn't so bad towards the end, but very early on, there were a lot of fight scenes that involved like really quick like martial arts movements, combined with it already being a bit dark as well, which led to it being just a little bit blurry was the movement, and it was like a little hard to follow what exactly was going on. I mean, you could tell who was fighting who and who was winning kind of thing, but you kind of lost some of the effect of, like, you know, who was doing what move and, you know.
Yeah, so, I mean, it wasn't all that great in 3D. It wasn't bad, it was fairly middle of the road, but...
It wasn't one of these where I'm like, God, I couldn't see what the hell was happening, why the hell did we bother? But at the same time, it's not one where I was thinking, man, that scene really came alive with the 3D, that looked really good.
Yeah.
Ultimately, see it in 2D, you're not missing anything.
But in terms of... we're going to talk about the end credits as well. There's 2 end credits bits, but we'll talk about that at the end. We'll consider that spoiler anyway. So.
Yeah, we also saw trailers for Guardians of the Galaxy and X-Men Days of Future Past.
And Spider-Man 2 as well.
Yeah, the latter two not actually, you know, part of this Marvel film
continuity.
Yeah, but still, you know, Marvel films, so we're going to lump them in.
Yeah, these are the old trailers as well that they showed. The X-Men was the one from like November last year or something. There's a new trailer, but I think it's brand new. It's like just the last few days. Probably too soon to see that in cinemas yet. But
yeah, it was nice to see them on a bigger screen. It kind of sold me a little bit more on Guardians of the Galaxy, but I still remain a bit
everyone
iffy.
Was a bit kind of. Well, we'll have to go see it, but
I mean, I've actually watched a YouTube video that kind of explained the team and their origins and stuff. And
Watch Mojo, was it? Watch Mojo.
Yeah, it was actually. That kind of sold me on the concept of the team a little bit more. But like I said, I don't know. It just looks very comedic with the "I'm Star-Lord." Like, who the hell calls him Star-Lord? Mostly just himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It could work, could not. Basically, they've earned enough
credit.
Yeah, with me that I'm going to just trust them. I've liked everything else they've done so far, so I'm going to give it a chance.
Exactly. But as for this film, anyway, Where do we start really without doing spoilers?
Well, very quick synopsis without giving away the entire plot. Basically, you follow on from the wake of the Battle of New York and Captain America's return to public life. Basically, the Cap is kind of considering his place in the new world. He's having disagreements with Nick Fury and questioning the direction of S.H.I.E.L.D.
It's all in the trailer, but yeah.
Yeah, kind of where the organisation's going, and does he have a place in like the modern world, and if he wasn't a soldier, what would he be, kind of thing. And then of course the crisis happens, things heat up, the Cap's on the run, fighting against the agency that he was formerly part of.
Which you're listening clips and trailers, that's not a major
Like I said,
spoiler.
this isn't spoilers. I mean, I kind of guessed that just from watching the trailer.
Yeah. There was a couple of bits. There's one bit, I mean, it's not really a spoiler as such, but obviously we know Captain America's trying to fit into the modern world, and he's having a conversation with like things to kind of to catch up with from 70 years
Yeah,
ago.
that he's like missed, that he definitely has to see, kind of.
Yeah, and he's got a book with a list of things that he's written down. There was Star Wars, there was Rocky, and then in brackets Rocky 2 ? And there was Nirvana as well. That was quite good. Did you see any others on that list?
No, I mainly noticed the Rocky one because I was like chuckling a bit about
I
that.
like that.
Because it is bizarrely the sort of thing I could see him liking.
Well,
It's kind of like an inspirational, like, underdog done good kind of film.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it resonates with everyone, doesn't it, really? Apart from women. But, yeah, no, what else really can we kind of say about it that isn't spoiler related?
I'd say all the characters get a good shake. Basically, you get the Falcon, you get Captain America, and you get Black Widow. They're all done pretty well. In some ways, Black Widow gets a little bit less character development than she did in the Avengers, but it's still kind of interesting because with her not having her own film, she kind of just gets like to develop in other films.
Yeah.
Also, the Winter Soldier looks very cool.
Yeah, there was one thing, because again, it's not really a spoiler if you know who the Winter Soldier is. Consider this a spoiler, actually. If you don't know who Winter Soldier is, consider this a spoiler. But he is Bucky Barnes from the first film, and but they didn't. If you weren't really like, if you don't, he wasn't that memorable a character in the first film, the first Avenger from 2011. So if you didn't really remember him, you still wouldn't really be all that much of a clue as to who he is. But you just kind of.
I think there's probably enough like hints that you'd be like, oh yeah, he was the guy that got knocked off the train. Yeah, I sort of
it shows
remembered.
it briefly, but it's kind of.
I mean, basically all the information you need is presented to you. Yeah. Maybe they could have done with showing a little bit more, but I don't think they wanted to make it into like a clip show of the last film, I guess.
Well, yeah. And again,
maybe they went a little bit too minimal on it.
You can say with this also, you can say with this what we said about Iron Man 3 as well. Like, why didn't like at least some of the others like jump in to help? I mean, you can make excuses either way. Like, why in Iron Man 3 didn't Captain America? Where was he? Why didn't he help out? But you probably say that more in this because Iron Man exists still. He didn't give up in the third one because he says I am Iron Man, and he's referred to in this as an Iron Man reference that he's kind of still knocking about as Iron Man. So you could sort of say, well, why didn't he help? But you know,
I don't know. I always look at it. I kind of see why people would say that.
Yeah.
But as a comic book like fan who's come into this, I'm kind of just used to the conceit that this is the Cap's fight.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's got allies in this. He's got the Black Widow and he's got Falcon, like, helping him out.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of used to the idea that the others are unavailable because Iron Man's off doing his own thing here, fighting somebody, and Thor can't help him because Thor will be fighting somebody over here.
I mean, I kind of imagine this. I can kind of, because stuff goes down at the end. It's kind of on not quite the same scale as the Avengers film, but it's like a big epic like battle in the sky with like stuff being like shot down and that. And I can kind of picture like Tony Stark and Pepper Potts back at home, and Pepper's like, "Oh, have you seen this on the news?" And Iron Man will pretty much like, "Oh, maybe we should help out." And then he sees Captain America, he's like, "Oh, they've got it handled," and doesn't bother. I can kind of picture that happening in this.
Also, where is Iron Man based in the comics?
Well, he's in Malibu, isn't he? So he's kind of in. I don't know exactly. Like, I know they have like West Coast Avengers and stuff, but then again, he's got like Stark Towers in New York as well.
Well, yeah, no, but you could say he was in Malibu when this like really kicks off.
Well, he got blown up anyway, but still, I mean.
Well, yeah, but you could say he's like in another part of the country.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's a big fight, but it doesn't last for days on end or anything.
Yeah.
over in like half an hour to an hour of like real time of like intense stuff going down. And like you say, you don't know, he could be fighting, you know, some Iron Man villain that you don't know about.
Yeah, could be the real Mandarin, the one that was alluded to in All Hail the King. You know, might have got involved with that.
Yeah, I'm interested in what the one shot's going to be with this when this is finally released, if there is one.
Well, we'll know in about 4 months' time. It'll be. I think this is going to get released to buy on Blu-ray around about late July, I imagine. So that'll be just before Guardians of the Galaxy. So
anyway, I think we should like properly talk about this now because we kind of got into spoilers already. So let's just
hard to really. So yeah, spoiler
from this
alert.
point here, you know, Bucky Barnes is like a minor spoiler. You probably already like
aware
know about it.
Yeah.
But from here on, we're going into proper full-on spoilers.
So we'll save the end credits bit right to the end anyway. So there's a few things that happen. Obviously, if you've seen a trailer, Nick Fury gets like injured, and he gets, well, from what you understand anyway, I didn't buy this for a second. Nick Fury dies. Nick Fury dies. He's dead. He's like you know, pronounced dead, but he's not really. But you know.
But it is kind of a good dramatic scene, and
it pushes the characters along. And
and it's not just like, oh, I fake my death to motivate them. No, he's like laid up with like numerous like life-threatening injuries.
Yeah.
But it's basically the idea of they think they've killed me, so they're not going to be still trying to kill me while I'm recuperating.
And he's officially dead all the way through the film. I mean, the film ends with that. We'll get to that later anyway. He's still dead. People think he's dead all the way through the film, apart from a few people like Captain America.
But yeah, certainly central to this story is like the conflict between the Cap and his kind of old-world sensibilities and his idea of honour and so forth. And kind of like a modern anti-terrorist agency and like spying on people and, well, as he puts it, like holding the world hostage with a gun isn't freedom, you know.
Yeah, because what they're doing, they kind of showed it in the trailer, but we can kind of elaborate on it here. They've got like helicarriers that are like the next generation helicarriers.
Yeah, they can basically like rain fire down from on high beyond anybody's like, ability to fight back.
Yeah.
They can target you, pinpoint on the street in your home.
Yeah,
and they can just take you out with this pinpoint strike like that.
And they can just kill. How many was it? I can't remember what it said. Like how many people?
It was like thousands, if not millions, like
in a minute or something.
So, I mean, basically, when they're talking about like opening fire with these things, they're talking about like huge targets, like all over like New York and that kind of that entire coast, basically.
Yeah, so
like the whole East Coast. So basically, you're talking like a major threat.
So these things are kind of something that Captain America is at odds with, because obviously it's a bit of a fundamental implication on freedom kind of thing, whichever country it's doing that in.
Which is kind of where the Falcon character comes in, because basically he has like issues.
How is he introduced? Talk about that. Falcon. How is he?
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, they kind of meet because basically they run into each other while jogging, and it's a bit forced because it's a little bit
contrived.
Yeah, but the second time he goes to the Falcon's much better. He's basically like this guy that works for the like VA hospitals and kind of like counselling soldiers that have just come back kind of thing. And basically like Cap goes to one of their meetings because he's having issues. He found out like on a mission he was leading to rescue people. Black Widow actually had her own mission. Whereas these like mercenaries had like taken over this boat and like taken all this SHIELD personnel hostage, and the Cap thought his mission was to get those hostages out. Black Widow's mission was basically to go in and like get some data for some reason, which actually becomes like important later on in the film. Basically, he has like a big bust up with Nick Fury over it, like, you know, an army relies on trust. Otherwise, we're just a load of guys running around waving guns at people.
Yeah, so the Falcon kind of becomes involved, and he kind of helps him out later on in the film. It does seem fairly contrived, but it's good because it's good to see the character on screen. Don't get me wrong, but so that becomes a part of it as well.
He certainly works in this.
Yeah,
like I say, he's a bit contrived. It happens to be this guy he meets and befriends, who happens to be able to help him with the whole like. You know, when he's having like his crisis of faith or whatever. And then he also just happens to be this like specially trained guy who can operate this like elite military glider wings jetpack thing that he's got. He doesn't actually develop the wings himself. They're like a military thing that he was like trained to use. And it's just kind of like, well, that's awfully convenient.
Yeah.
But like I say, yeah, I can accept it. Personally, if I was doing it, I'd have just had him be like a junior SHIELD agent that like Cap was friends with, or like mentoring or whatever, or he'd been assigned to, rather than just having it be some random guy who just happened to be like a returning war vet, who just happened to be working in the VA hospital, who just happened to have like access, training on using this. It basically suggested that Cap and Black Widow steal this jetpack for him.
But
So like, it's in this army base behind like a quarter-inch of like concrete and a ton of guards, and like Cap and Black Widow just look at each other and go, "Yeah, that's not going to be a problem."
But the plot moves on anyway, and Nick Fury gets killed. So you think.
Yeah, basically there's like an ambush, and you get to see some of the things that the SHIELD cars can do. One of them's a bit of a non sequitur because he's talking about like engaging flight mode, and you're like, the hell is in an SUV?
Yeah.
Although it has been established in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. they do have like hover cars. But they certainly haven't established the rest of the things this car can do, including driving itself, like specialised armour, a medical scanner that can tell him where he's hurt and stuff, and like basically just a minigun that he uses.
Yeah, when it's driving through the streets, I was just expecting Samuel L. Jackson to shout out, "Are you aiming for these people?" But he didn't. That would have been a good nod to Die Hard. But so anyway, we'll try to move on through the plot anyway. So what happens after that?
Basically, he gets called in to see Robert Redford's character. Does Captain America?
Robert Redford's like the next high up above Nick Fury, pretty much, isn't he?
Yeah, he's basically got lots of questions about what happened to Nick Fury, because basically Fury, after he escapes the ambush, he goes to the Cap.
And gets shot again.
Yeah, and again he's like, basically like, you can't trust anybody, you're on your own, S.H.I.E.L.D's been compromised. And that's also the first time you get to see the Winter Soldier. And like I say, he looks great.
Yeah.
The costume's very good, it's very menacing, the way he fights is rather cool.
Loyal to the...
Yeah, he looks exactly like he's supposed to look.
Yeah.
And certainly the effect of the cybernetic arms, like, pretty good as well.
Yeah, it didn't look too high-techy. It looked like something you can imagine would be made by some top guys, like in the 70s or something.
Basically, he does come across as like a solid threat to the Cap.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because even when he's like fighting him with his shield, he's still fairly like holding his own kind of thing against him.
Because basically, it's already been established that he can take down like another specially trained guy, because he basically devastates Batroc.
Yeah. So
yeah, when he's called into Robert Redford, it's revealed that basically the whole op on this boat was a con job that Nick Fury set up.
And he asks Captain America, he says, "Well, I want to know why Nick Fury went to you, what did he tell you," kind of thing. And he kind of holds out and says, "Oh, he told me not to trust anyone," and he walks out.
Yeah, he doesn't reveal that Nick Fury's like told him that S.H.I.E.L.D's compromised and given him this.
But Robert Redford knows this, and when Captain America's leaving, that's the scene where you see in the trailer with the elevator, where he gets into a big fight with loads of people in the elevator.
And it pretty much seems to be like most of S.H.I.E.L.D. is out to get him, and you're like, what the hell? Because it's really like sudden.
Well, he basically says to everybody, but what's happened is Nick Fury, has done this, and Captain America may know something, and he's lying about it. So now we need Captain America. We need to like arrest him and take him down, kind of thing. So
yeah, and basically you have Cap on the run. There's that. What's his name? Rumslow. Crossbones.
Oh, what was it? Was it Rumslow or something like that?
I can't remember. Basically, Crossbones for like simplicity's sake.
Like
he's not referred to as such during the film.
Yeah, he's a character that's developed. We'll talk about that.
But basically, he's one of the main people leading the hunt for the captain. He sort of comes to trust Black Widow, although he's initially kind of leery of it. Basically, the two of them kind of dig deeper into the mystery and find out that basically Hydra wasn't destroyed when he took out the Red Skull
in the first film,
and
sleeper cells in S.H.I.E.L.D. pretty much right at the
basically
top.
From the word go, because they brought in a lot of like Nazi scientists with Operation Paperclip, which is like a proper
real life.
Basically, like people like Armin Zola out of the first film, who you do see in this. He's quite cool. I won't spoil that for you. But basically, they do something quite interesting with him.
Well, we can spoil it.
Well, yeah, no, but we don't want to like go through every single thing in the film.
Well, I just say he's a face on a computer screen where his brain's been kind of uploaded to like a really large computer, and it kind of gives the whole plot away as to what's like that Hydra basically has taken over S.H.I.E.L.D. from the inside at certain levels, well, right at the top basically. There's a couple of people
strongly like suggested that they're the ones that actually killed Howard Stark, Tony Stark's dad.
Yeah, he flashes up like a picture of Howard's like a headline like Stark like killed in a car accident. And he says,
yeah, it's kind of like flashes up lots of documents and some stuff's redacted, but it basically makes it clear like we killed him because he was too
close, can they?
Because basically it's revealed that S.H.I.E.L.D. was started by Howard Stark and other people like that, such as Peggy Carter, is like
can you get to see
sort of love interest in the first one. Yeah, they got her in pretty good all-woman makeup.
Yeah,
you kind of buy that.
It was done quite well, but you only see.
And it is kind of a touching scene because she's obviously kind of initially when they're talking, she seems quite with it, but then suddenly she she drifts away. She's got Alzheimer's or whatever, and it's like, Steve, you're alive. You come back, and you can see he's kind of choked up about it. It's kind of quite well done.
Yeah, it was a good scene, and they didn't overuse it. Only had like one scene, but so yeah, we had that with Zola as well. The thing about as well, Hydra being sort of infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. like from the beginning pretty much. There's a couple of characters in this that have been in previous films that are Hydra, that are all out Hydra agents. One of them is Senator Stearns, which was the guy that you saw in Iron Man 2, the one that said, we want you to hand over the Iron Man suit weapon to the Americans.
So one of the things that always impresses me about these films, you can kind of go back to them if you like.
Yeah.
And actually learn stuff you didn't know the first time round. Because that paints the whole wanting the Iron Man armour in an entirely different light. It's like if Tony Stark had turned it over to the US government, he'd effectively turned over the Iron Man armour to Hydra.
And also Agent Sitwell, who, if you know who that is, if you don't, you have to look it up. But he's one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. He's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well, in the Agent Sitwell.
Yeah.
He was in Thor and he was in the Avengers. But also, good point you make, you're going to look at these films in a different light now, because in the Avengers, where they've got all the Hydra weaponry, and they're talking about using that Hydra weaponry, you're going to kind of see that in that light now as well, because S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't just making bad decisions using Hydra stuff. They are Hydra pretty much, to a certain degree anyway.
Yeah, it seems to be pretty much 50-50.
Yeah.
Certainly a lot of the soldiers and strike teams and stuff have been completely compromised by Hydra agents.
I mean, the top guy at S.H.I.E.L.D. is Hydra, so I mean,
Yeah, basically it's another character. Again, I don't know if there's anything like that in the comics with the character, because both Jasper Sitwell and was it Andre? What the hell's his name? Rob Redford's character.
I can't remember now.
Yeah.
Was referring to him as Robert Redford. Anyway.
Yeah, basically those two are actually from the comics, and they're not like Hydra Moors in that, I don't think.
Yeah, they've kind of changed it for this. But it's good that they do so, because it keeps fans like us off guard. Otherwise, we'd go in knowing exactly what was going to happen. But so there's quite a few spoilers we've given out there anyway. We'll keep going with plot anyway. So
yeah, basically they sick the Winter Soldier onto Captain America and the Black Widow. They seem to have cut a lot of the ties from the comics between Winter Soldier and Black Widow, though she does know about him as basically this spy that she's gone up against, and basically shot her and killed the person she was trying to protect.
Yeah. And
basically they go to one of the few people they can trust, because he's not part of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is basically
Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a huge fight with the Winter Soldier where it's revealed that he's Bucky Barnes.
And Captain America basically says, he sees him, he's in shock, and he's like, Bucky? And the Winter Soldier kind of looks at him and he's like, why did you call me that kind of thing? Yeah, and kind of later you get a scene from the Winter Soldier's perspective where he's talking to Robert Redford. And he's like, but I know him. And he's like, yeah, he's been out of cryostasis too long. He's getting... Yeah, put him under again. Yeah, wipe his memory. So they wipe his memory again. Which again, it seems to be pretty much like how they treated him in the comics. They had to keep him frozen, and they had to keep brain fucking him, or else he'd remember who he was. So and when you've got a lethally trained assassin with a cybernetic arm and all these lethal skills, you kind of don't want to remember him that you fucked him over. Exactly. So it moves on anyway. They've got these three main helicarriers that they're going to target everybody. And there's a Doctor Strange reference because
because like talking about like we'll take out people, from the White House to like third grade people who could like be a threat
like
to us.
Bruce Banner and Stephen Strange as well.
Yeah.
So
So you got like a name drop of Doctor Strange.
so he's going to be introduced at some later point.
Now he doesn't necessarily have powers at this point because they make it clear that the computer they've got, this computer program written by Zola, can basically take the complete like totality of your online like information, like everything from
Credit card information.
grade school to like what internet searches, phone calls,
Everything.
basically like Big Brother writ large.
NSA spying on drugs kind of
Yeah, it can take all that and it can predict.
who a threat is going to be.
Yeah,
to them.
basically it can kind of predict your future.
It's
almost.
New World Order basically. They've
To a
used that
degree.
phrase. They've got a New World Order kind of thing. So they're kind
Yeah,
of
this
going
is
on.
pretty much Captain America versus like.
Yeah. So it's done from that point of view. These three helicarriers that are like armed and ready to start blasting down on targets, including the White House. Cause
Yeah, and didn't you say Avengers Tower?
Yeah, the Avengers Tower. So it's very briefly shows you can blink and miss it.
Yeah, I
literally.
blinked and missed
Yeah,
it.
it
It's one of
goes-
the things that I was kind of saying to you at the time. Like, I wish we could like go back and like
The problem
freeze
with
frame
stuff,
it and see like just who the
Yeah.
targeting, because literally they're targeting like hundreds of people across like New York and like,
Yeah.
all these other places.
So Captain America's on one of these helicarriers fighting the Winter Soldier, and he stops it just in time. And the bit in the trailer where you've seen the helicarrier crashing, you kind of think, "Whoa, that's bad. Like that's Shield, they're getting like messed up." It's like, well, no, it's a good thing that it's crashing because.
Yeah, you actually see the Triskelion, which has been referred to numerous times in things like Agents of Shield and the other kind of.
the Shield headquarters,
yeah.
basically on the ground.
You actually get to see the Triskelion, which looks pretty damn impressive. It's this huge structure. Basically, you also get to see like when basically Captain America breaks in and he has like a big speech for like the Shield agents. He's like, "I know some of you are going to be against me, but I know more of you are kind of like just good people. You can't let them launch these things." And basically, you see quite a few like Shield agents basically going.
At gunpoint saying, "Yeah, we're not going to launch these things because
Yeah.
they kill Americans." It's pretty good from that point of view. They don't just do as they're told, kind of thing, not regardless.
I mean, you basically see like a couple of like guards, like obviously like gearing up to try and stop the pilots getting aboard the helicarriers, but they're totally outgunned, so they get cut down.
There's a couple of other
And
characters.
like basically like people trying to get up into the air to like give Cap air support, but they get killed by the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Basically, Shield does get ass fucked in this. They really do.
Well, there's a few characters that were in this, like, what's her name? The one that's kind of Nick Fury's right-hand woman, kind of thing. What's she called? Maria Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in this. And also...
Yeah, he kind of like references are like, oh, you need to get here in like 3 hours. Like, basically he's on the phone just before he's get attacked. And then you don't kind of see her for quite a while and you kind of think the film's forgotten about her. But no, she's the one that's been taking care of him while he's been like laid up.
Yeah.
And basically been masterminding the like counter-strike against Hydra.
I'll tell you who else is in this as well. Stan Lee again. He has a cameo again.
Yeah, because basically after he escapes the first time and his costume gets all screwed up, the Cap's basically like talking to the Falcon. He's like, if you're going to fight a war, you need a uniform. And he basically goes back into this exhibit of...
Captain America Museum.
Yeah, basically it's been established before because when he's kind of like being nostalgic about his past and kind of like questioning his future, he kind of goes there. And it refers to like the Howling Commandos and Bucky Barnes and like refers to Bucky's death. But basically he steals the original Captain America costume that he wore during like...
World War II.
Yeah, basically during like the first Avenger.
And
in some ways it's kind of like, he's returning to his roots, kind of like ridding himself of like S.H.I.E.L.D. and so forth, and he is Captain America, first and foremost.
Yeah. Well, there's Stan Lee has a cameo at this bit because he's like a sort of janitor type.
Yeah, he kind of sees like the empty stand with like the where the uniform was, and he's like,
"I'm gonna get
so fired."
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's got a cameo in it.
Yeah, you also get to see Agent 13, is it?
Yeah, talk about that because
basically it's quite good because they kind of tease her because they keep basically like Natasha keeps trying to hook Steve Rogers up with like various women. He's like, "Why don't you ask her out?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm too busy," kind of thing. And basically like references this nurse that lives in the same building as him. And when he goes back home to like find Nick Fury there, kind of like bleeding all over the place, he's been shot up. Before he goes into the apartment and finds that he's like talking to this neighbour. who's like referencing like basically talking about like going out for coffee or something. And basically after like Nick Fury's shot, she comes barging into the apartment with a gun and it's like, no, I'm Agent 13, I'm assigned to protect you. And later on, basically when you're saying about the SHIELD agent with a gun to his head refusing to launch the helicarriers, before like the guy can like put him down,
she kind of
she basically like
the day for a moment. Anyway.
Yeah, she fights the guy, but basically Crossbones like basically has the upper hand.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately she kind of drops out of the film, which I thought was a bit disappointing. So I was kind of expecting her to show up again and kind of like help Cap out, but she kind of doesn't.
The point is though, this Agent 13 is some relation to Peggy Carter from World War II.
Yeah, because they basically like name drop the fact that her actual name is Sharon, so they definitely
didn't say Carter though. She's credited as Sharon Carter.
Yeah, so what I think is they're saving that for a revelation for the third film, probably.
But fans know that. It's kind of it's done in a weird way, isn't it? But yeah, you're right.
Well, you know if you've read IMDb, but I don't think she's like they don't make a point of it basically. So if you didn't know about Sharon Carter, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, that's who this character is.
Yeah. Well, they did that with the 1990 Captain America as well, where they had like his girlfriend's like daughter or something, her play the same person. So maybe they're just getting inspiration from that. Such a good film, you know. Maybe they're just getting inspiration from that. But I kind of find that hard to believe. Talking bollocks again. But
yeah, there were a couple of points where I thought they might be trying to like do something with him and Black Widow. Cause
I thought that, yeah.
That's another.
Something. That'd been quite.
That's
good.
another like relationship that occasionally gets brought up and sometimes doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how big it is in the cartoons, but I know in like some of the Avengers like animated things, he's with.
Yeah.
The Black Widow, or like there's certainly like a chemistry between the two.
I just wanted to see a sex scene with Scarlett Johansson. To be honest,
yeah, haven't you got a friend who's got some comments about Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah, Stephen. When I asked him about the
it's like what do you think about the Black Widow?
Hello, welcome to Brandix Reviews. We've just been to see Captain America. We're all pretty pleased with it. What did you think, Stephen?
It's good.
What did you think of Black Widow?
Oh, fucking hell.
And he got a bit overexcited, I think. So, but
we may have a clip, we may not.
Yeah, we'll decide to on it. But so that's pretty much the film. The film kind of ends. I mean, obviously, Captain America is in his fight. The helicarrier crashes.
He fights the Winter Soldier to the kind of bitter end. He just manages to literally with like a count of 1 second remaining, as per dramatic law, foil the Hydra plot. But he's basically gets shot up, gets messed up, but he goes back for Bucky, and he's like, you better kill me then because I'm with you to the end. And basically, Bucky hesitates and doesn't kill him, and when he basically the head falls off the helicarrier as it's exploding and crashing, Bucky drags him up onto the shore where he's found later and kind of
walks away, leaves him there, having saved him, kind of thing. He's lost his shield as well. That bothers me. Captain America throws his shield into the sea, and that's the last you see of it. So how's he gonna get that back? And he can't just knock up some vibranium. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's got some way of getting it. But
I'm assuming they're just going to find it when they're going through the wreckage because they can't just leave the wreckage of those crashed helicarriers.
Yeah, I don't know why they can't find a Malaysian plane. How the hell are they going to find this shield?
Yeah, but they don't actually know where the Malaysian plane crashed, whereas the shield landed somewhere just around the Triskelion.
Exactly.
Now, I think if that plane had gone missing just in that area, we would have probably found it.
That's true, that's true. But, so the film kind of ends with that.
Yeah, like I said, I do like the fact that they didn't, wrap it up nice and neatly like they sometimes tempted to do with films, say when they kill off Harvey Dent in the second Batman film. They basically leave it with him
alive,
questioning and obviously remembering something of his connection to Steve
Talking
Rogers.
about the Winter Soldier. The Winter Soldier remembers who he is.
Kind of walks off,
which we'll get to in the end credits. We'll press for time so we better move on anyway. So
basically, S.H.I.E.L.D's disbanded at the end of it. Basically, Captain America and Black Widow disseminated all the secrets of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And some of the World Council people, whatever they're called, the shadowy people from the Avengers.
Yeah, you actually get to see them in the flesh. They're not shadowy people in a dark, smoky room this time.
Yeah, because there's only one actress. There's Jenny Agutter, the actress. She was one of the World Council people in the Avengers. But Powers Booth was in the Avengers and he wasn't in this. And they did have Jim Robinson guy from Neighbours, who I recognise from 20 odd years ago. He was one of the council. But they get killed, don't they?
Yeah, they get killed.
by Robert Redford.
There's basically like huge like Senate inquiries because they're like, how are we supposed to protect America when you've just like taken apart our like intelligence agency and stuff?
And it's like, well, if we hadn't have done, you'd have been under the sort of under Hydra. I was going to say Spectre then. That's James Bond. Yeah, if we hadn't have intervened, you know, Hydra would have controlled everything. So you can't really arrest us for doing our job. And Nick Fury's still alive, and he basically says there's still some Hydra stuff going on in Europe, so I'm going to go to Europe, and that's the last you see of Nick Fury. So they're probably
Yeah, he goes off to deal with that. Steve Rogers is going after
the Winter Soldier,
and Falcon's like goes with him.
Now Nick Fury actually, he's still dead officially. People think he's still dead, and he got rid of his eye patch. He's traded it for some sunglasses, and he's like got wearing a hood kind of thing with sunglasses to kind of. And he's going to Europe to track down Hydra, so that's going to pick up there. But it's pretty much the film anyway. But we'll get into it because we're short on time. So we'll go into the end credits. There's 2 end credits bits. First one is kind of into the credits.
Yeah, well, I think we'll leave that on till last because in some ways that's the interesting one.
Yeah, fair enough.
The end one is kind of interesting, but in some ways it's less interesting than the other one. So I'm not sure why they decided to leave that for the very end. Basically, you just see Bucky Barnes walking into
the museum,
basically the Captain America exhibit, and kind of looking at
his own exhibit section,
like the bit that's like explaining like about Bucky Barnes.
James Buchanan Barnes died, and there's a picture of him. He kind of looks at it, and that's it. That's the very
kind of with like dramatic music.
Yeah, I mean they could have done that in the actual film itself, but still, either way. But
it was a nice scene, but yeah, it wasn't quite as good as the other one.
Yeah, the one that's in the sort of in middle of the credits. We knew this. We kind of said it in our last review. Well, a pre-screening review that we did. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. They're wanting to Marvel's wanting to establish them in their films before 20th Century Fox do their version of Quicksilver in the X-Men, which doesn't overlap. It's just they're using the same character. So what happens? They basically go into some kind of like it's like a basement or something, isn't it? And there's
it's like a secret base basically.
And it's Baron von
Strucker.
And you haven't seen him in the films yet till this
Yeah,
part.
basically this guy with a monocle like talking to another guy. He's like, Strucker.
Yeah. And
what are we going to do now? The Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. have been destroyed. And he's like, well, you know, they're like 2 things that no longer matter anymore. We'll keep feeding like the do-gooders like Hydra cells so they won't know what we're up to. And it basically shows them...
it's the Spear of Destiny that Loki was walking around within the Avengers Assemble film. You might recognise it. That's what came with the action figure, just in case you don't know what we're talking about.
So basically, they've got that.
What did they say about it? I can't even bloody remember. You're better at remembering stuff than me.
They were just kind of vague. It's like, yes, this is like... makes everything else that Hydra was doing to look like kids stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this is the real shit kind of thing.
And then they kind of go off into this, like, these 2 cells that are like in a sort of glass.
Sort of, you know, what's important nowadays are miracles. And, you know,
yeah, miracles.
Miracles are a terrible thing.
And you've got Quicksilver and this Scarlet Witch, and they didn't look like I thought they would. They kind of messed up. Scarlet Witch is like really scraggly hair, sat down, like gawked out. With
kind of gothy almost.
She's kind of levitating these like brick things.
And Quicksilver keeps like running into the walls.
Yeah, that was fucked up. That's quite scary actually. He's like bouncing off the walls and stuff. It's kind of like, whoa, what the hell? So if you
basically they're in kind of glass-fronted cells. They look. It's almost like a mental institution.
Yeah, it was like Silence of the Lambs type thing. And they said something
it's
along
like,
the
you know,
lines
when the twins meet the Avengers, you know.
Yeah, something like when
and then it's like going on about, like, miracles are a terrible thing. And, like, one of the blocks, the Scarlet Witch is levitating, just, like, something explodes and, like... It's something like it's liquefied or something, you're like, what the hell?
And that's how it ends. Well, that's how the scene ends. So that was interesting, because those twins are Magneto's children, which, of course, Magneto doesn't exist in the Marvel films.
And they also you can't just say, the mutants.
Mutants, X-Men, Magneto, they can't refer to it because it's owned by 20th Century Fox, and vice versa. The X-Men 20th Century Fox films can't refer to the Avengers, and Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are very much in both camps. You know, they were established in X-Men but became Avengers, so... I don't think Scarlet Witch is going to be in the X-Men films, the upcoming ones, but Quicksilver is. So
this Quicksilver looks far more menacing than...
yeah, the other one looks a bit kind of teenagery. It looks like something out of Buffy the Vampire Slayer or some of the X-Men.
Hey, stop insulting Buffy.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
No, I'm not being nasty.
It could be alright. It could be alright, but...
It could just be an unfortunate picture of the guy, to be honest.
Yeah, it looks a bit silly. The X-Men version. But anyway, there's not really much else that we haven't already said anyway, so that's everything with spoilers.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything in the film that I didn't like. Beyond like the slightly kind of plot convenience nature of Falcon. They don't really set him up very well. It's just like he just happens to be a guy, he just happens to be this, and he just happens to be that. He seems to be very convenient for the plot.
But it was good though.
Yeah, the actor nailed the part. The character was good. What he actually did was good. It was just very convenient that he just happened to be there.
Yeah.
And be so useful.
So, moving forward, obviously the next films that are coming out, there's Guardians of the Galaxy, then after that Avengers 2, well, Avengers
Age of Ultron. Yeah, also after the credits, kind of like we always get the James Bond will return in blah 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 blah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In this we've got Captain America will return in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, so...
and also, I think you looked up and like Strucker will be in Age of Ultron, isn't he?
Yeah, Strucker, Baron von Strucker, the character that's in the end credits talking about the twins, he's going to be in Avengers Age of Ultron.
I'm wondering if they're going to be bad guys in that thing. So I don't know if is there anything that says they're going to be like Avengers?
I don't know really.
Because basically, if you take out the whole Magneto stuff, there's still the essence of their characters are. They start out bad guys and then they reform.
Yeah, they become Avengers. So we'll see. I mean, they could be just characters that are kind of like Jean Grey was in the X-Men film. Well, the later X-Men, the third one. It's kind of like she's good, but she's very dangerous and she's too much to handle. That could be the same with these, because basically they said about miracles. Miracles are kind of dangerous or whatever.
Yeah, miracles are a terrible thing.
Yeah, so that seems to be where they're going anyway. So very interesting, and I don't think there's anything else. We're pretty much tied up now anyway, because we're running out of time.
Yeah, we've gone on quite a while.
Yeah. Good film, and definitely recommend it.
Yes, strong recommend from me as well.
And,
doubtless somebody will find something to moan about with it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this wasn't right, oh, that wasn't right. It was a solidly entertaining film. It was fun. I wasn't bored at any point, despite the fact it's quite a long film.
Yeah.
I didn't have any trouble following the plot. It was pretty well laid out for you.
Yeah, it was...
kind of stuff like the Zola thing, like, whoa, I didn't see that coming.
It caught me off guard. I liked that. I thought it was really well done. I think at that point in the film, because it kind of... It's not that it dragged, but it's just kind of... It was a long film, and there was a lot of bits, but there wasn't really anything happening, but it was developing, so it was necessary, but it was... You wanted something really cool to happen, and the bits like that came into it, it was like, that's paid off, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Good ending as well. So, one other thing as well, the Captain America theme, this was something that just kind of, I was wondering about. Were they going to use the Captain America theme from the other film? And because the score wasn't done by the same person, it was Henry Jackman that did the score to this one. But they did use it briefly. Alan Silvestri, who did the Avengers score as well. But it was done by Henry Jackman. His score. It was quite a good score, but he did use that theme once in it. So it was
he got credited for it in the titles.
Did it?
Floating around.
Right, yeah, good one. Yeah.
It was like the Captain America theme from First Avenger by Alan Silvestri.
Yeah, because they use it.
Which is how I remember the name, because I'm usually a name forgetting motherfucker.
Yeah, you did very well. But yeah, they.
I noticed that in the credits, and I was like, "Oh right, yeah."
He did that in Thor: The Dark World, because that bit where Loki pretended to be played the music, and he credited it in, and put it in the credits. So that was just kind of my issue. Probably just, if you're not interested in that, I've probably just ranted for 2 minutes about a lot of bollocks. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there. I don't think there's
good, solid film, well worth a watch, thoroughly enjoyable.
Yeah, right. Cool. Right, well, we'll see you for the next review. We're at brandxreviews.com.
I'm not going to make any weird noises because I know you will leave them in.
Yeah. One other thing coming up soon, I'm going to be reviewing the Captain America Winter Soldier Prelude graphic novel. I'm going through the Marvel Cinematic Universe tie-in graphic novels, doing reviews, so that'll be coming up in the next couple of weeks anyway. So that's pretty much it. Nothing else to add. So
nope. That's it.
Thank you very much.